All right, it's another Saturday morning. It's 9 a.m. and it's time for the External Bum Show with me, Ralph Williams, Scott Morganroth, Jeremy Ballrich. Leo is on a traveling thing, so some Chicago for you there. And we have a great show for you this morning, including we're going to talk about Pete Rose. We're going to talk about a lot of Terry Francona, NFL, a whole lot more, all coming up this morning here on the External Bum Show with me, Ralph Williams, and Scott Morganroth and Jeremy Ballrich this morning. As I mentioned earlier, Leo is not with us today. He is on a traveling trip, so he's not able to join us today. So sorry to hear about good for Leo. I hope he has safe travels today. And let me get the right thing here. There we go. All right, let me get this off so they can see our faces here. There we are. It's a little slow this morning, but anyway, good morning, guys, and welcome to the show. We're going to get started here real quick here briefly with our bum segment, but first introduce yourselves. Scott Morganroth, South Florida Tribune. How are you this morning, Scott? Good morning.
Doing better, Ralph, than I was yesterday, that's for sure. I feel a lot better than the show's on Saturday than it was Friday. I wouldn't have been able to get by, but anyway, so best way to reach me is by subscribing to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. I wrote a book. Put it up there, somebody. Okay.
Yep, I got it right here.
Boy, lessons from the microphone, tuning into the enduring wisdom of visionary leaders. You can find that on Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and we're working to get it on more places. So enjoy coming on Saturdays and shooting the breeze with you guys and feel a lot better. And of course, I could be more happier than have my two pals, Ralph Williams and Jeremy Ballrich, two guys that I value tremendously. So feel pretty good. Looking forward to talking some sports today. That's for sure.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Jeremy Ballrich.
Well, you all know me from my channel, Kneecap Fighting with the Motor City Lions. And if you read my stuff about the Lions, it comes from that guy below me. He's my publisher as well. The SouthFloridaTribune.com, where I also do shows on the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel.
All right, Ralph Williams here. I am the host of the show. Also, I have several shows on my YouTube channel, Ralph Williams at RW Media. So check out all my shows and please subscribe. I need about Dale says good morning, by the way. We'll get started with him with his comment. Thank you, Dale, for being part of the show this morning with your comments. And so I have my own media company, RW Media Productions. Check out my website, www.rwmediaproductions.com, brought to you by Digital Data, who is one of the sponsors of this program. We are also in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios. As soon as that comes up here we go. All right. I don't know why this computer is always slow.
You just got to give it a second. StreamYard is what slows it down.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me, Ralph, with all these sponsors you have, you can't go out there and make a trade to get a better one? Shame, 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 as Gomer Pyle would say.
Yeah, well, I'm working on that. That's
all right. Oh, I'm just giving you a little hard time. But you know what, Ralph, you should be glad I didn't put you on as my bum for having computer problems because I love you, so it's no big deal. But go out there and make a trade and get a better computer.
Hey, I got new equipment today, new mic, new mixer. So you know,
all right, we'll let the mic and the mixer go to a stress-less broadcast. All right.
Yes, absolutely. All right, we're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios, 724-201-0500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. You ought to call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. All right. And also we are going to put Scott's book up there because Scott is the sponsor of this segment with his book, the Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into Visionary Wisdom of Visionary Leaders, or Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders, Scott Morganroth, and his new book. Pick it up on Amazon. That's where I got my book, my copy of the book. And I want to thank Dale for being part of the program this morning with his comments. Your comments are welcome, as always, here in the comments section of the broadcast. And this morning, let's get started with our bum segment. We'll start with you,
Hey,
Scott.
Ralph,
Go ahead. Yes.
real quick, have you had a chance to read the book very much?
I have read the first chapter, and I'm
Okay.
getting ready to start with the rest of it. So
yeah, I'm sure that someone like you or anybody will benefit by it, because hopefully this will give you enough information. Jeremy says he's read it, so people like you can certainly hopefully pick up a couple of pointers, and maybe you might learn a little something from.
Yes, absolutely. I'm always into learning. So,
Okay.
Folks like yourself, Claudia Rosano, and a few other people have really been an inspiration to help me with some of this stuff.
Yeah, I'm planning to write another version later in the year. I'm dealing with some medical issues, but once I come to grip with them, then I'll be able to start working on an outline and then begin targeting a publish time around March or April for next year. So obviously, you want to know the bum for the day? I'm going to go Michigan State Spartans. On a national stage, had an opportunity under a new coach, who's, by the way, Jonathan Smith is all too familiar with the Oregon area because he coached at Oregon State. And you know what? They were committing crucial turnovers in the red zone, as well as Oregon for that matter. But Oregon came away with a 31-10 win last night. So it got to a point where I couldn't stand watching it. I decided to appease my wife and go back to NCIS afterwards until I I'll take Mark Harmon all day over Jonathan Smith.
Oh, man, that's a shame about that.
I will say,
Jeremy.
Thank you, Michigan State, because you won my bet, because I bet them to cover the 22.5 point spread.
Well, there you go, Jeremy. Hey, if you could put a couple little jingles in your pocket, then more power to you. If indeed there was a little bit of that out there.
Yeah, there was.
Okay, well, there you go, JB. Okay, but I don't know. I think when you see these Big Ten schools like Michigan State trying to look for a signature win in prime time on Friday night, and then, of course, I know Oregon has an incredible record at home. I know Austin Stadium has a hard place to win, but I don't care. I mean, somebody's going to break that anyways. And you know what? They're in the Big Ten. Okay, they're not in the Pac-12 anymore, Oregon. So whatever streak you have, now that you've entered a different grade of competition, that will be short-lived by the end of the year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So go ahead, Jeremy, your bum.
My bum is the MLB for not allowing, while he was alive, to have the guy that is one of the greatest hitters to ever play the game into the Hall of Fame, Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but are you surprised?
In this day and age, with the way sports betting is in hands with every single sport anymore, yes. Because you know what? We've changed commissioners. They could have had a change of heart.
Yeah, but here's the only problem. I think you're right. I've always predicted, though, Jeremy, that if Rose could ever get in, it would be when he's dead. Okay, we'll see whether that ultimately plays out. But let's not kid yourself. Everybody remembers Watergate on this panel, right? Sometimes the cover-up is worse than the actual crime itself. And for 15 years, Pete Rose lied, wanted to sell a book. And then he wanted to sell a book during Hall of Fame induction weekend. And when you aggravate the commissioners like Seelig and Manfred, to me, that doesn't help your case to get in. I know where you're coming from. Jeremy, you're 100% right with the way things have gone in terms of sports betting, which is why Reggie Bush has now got his Heisman Trophy back because of the time change. However, there's one thing I'm going to say. You don't write a book 15 years later, you say you did it and you killed Bart Giamatti, not that he had other medical issues to begin with, you know what I mean? You don't lie for 15 years and then come clean. That's where he screwed up, okay? But time will tell whether or not he ultimately gets in. But I've been predicting all along, Jeremy, if he ever did get in, it would be when he's dead.
Here's the thing. Right. Bud Selig did say, as long as you finally admit it, I'll consider letting you in.
Yeah, but he said consider.
Yeah, he actually did say those words.
Yeah, but what happened?
I'm saying is he did do that. Whether everybody wants to slide it under the rug or make it against him, that book was an admission of guilt.
Sure, it was. But here's what you have to understand, though, Jeremy. Consider is one thing, but when you go out there and sell that book during Hall of Fame induction weekend, you could have predicted any time to do it, but don't show up MLB during the Hall of Fame weekend. You ever been there before, Cooperstown?
No, I haven't been to
They got a
any
lot
them
of my
before.
money there. Let me tell you, they got a lot of my money. I can tell you, my house, they got a lot of money. But everything you're saying, Jeremy, is on point. I'm not trying to tell you that you're wrong. I'm telling you that when you lie for 15 years and then you show up MLB, then the word consider is consider, not a guarantee.
So he writes a book about what he did in baseball and decides to sell it outside the Hall of Fame
that weekend.
That weekend.
But yeah. I get it. But at the same time, how's he supposed to promote a baseball book if he's not at a baseball event?
That's not the point. If you go to, that's not the point. Go to Cooperstown, and I guarantee when Ralph decides to incorporate this as a topic, I'll bet here.
Yes,
okay,
that's coming up after we're done here with the
I'll bet you a meal at Black Rock, okay, that you have to pay. That I'm right, although I wouldn't do that to you anyways, Jeremy, because I love you too much. But we'll consider it a point. The point is you don't show up Major League Baseball on Hall of Fame weekend.
Right.
Any other time, fine, okay, but not then.
Yeah, that's kind of like a slap in the face.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ralph, thank you. That's exactly what it is, a slap in the face. And that's what got him doomed with Seelig, and then it got him doomed with Manfred. Manfred's going to do anything Seelig does. Let's face the reality, okay? Because one learned from the other. You know, mentor, protege, Jeremy, like me, you, him. Okay.
Right.
You get it? So you don't want to show up your mentor, because if you do that, then, and of course the history with Giamatti. So, Jeremy, I'm not disputing that what you're saying is right or wrong. That's not the point. But a slap in the face during the biggest time, and let's face the reality, how many great players are not in the Hall of Fame outside of Rose for different reasons? But remember, the underlying circumstances is when you walk in a Major League Baseball clubhouse, it's explicitly said you're not allowed to do it, and he did, let alone on his own team.
All right. It's a shame he's not in. That's all.
Okay.
Hey, listen, I love getting into a good spirited debate with Jeremy on anything outside of football, because it means this guy's come a long way and he's graduating in other sports.
Yes, he is. All right, guys. My bum today is Beaver County Radio. Why? Because Beaver County Radio, and I actually want to thank them, because you know why? Today is the debut of the return of the Sports Corner radio show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, and Claudio Rosano. And starting next show, we're adding Luther Dupree to the panel. So I want to, but Beaver County Radio is my bum, because you're a bum for letting and playing games with me with my new contract. You wanted to play all kinds of games. You didn't like, you were jealous because I put your show on a national perspective on every podcast I was on nationally, and you didn't appreciate it. So you know what? You're the bum today. I'm on a better station, and here it is today. And you know what? You guys can eat it, because guess what? Here's where I am today. And starting in November, I'm putting on a show called The Ralph Williams Show, which is coming in November on the same station, The Answer, 1250 AM, 92.5 on the FM dial, and also on The Answer's website and iHeartRadio, which is where the Answer is at. All right, guys, we're going to go into our next segment, and it's about Pete Rose, which we were doing a little bit of a debate about, and then that's brought to you today by Alex's Flowers. As soon as it comes up here, Alex's Flowers, 412-661-6071, 30 years in the business, weddings, funerals for your sweetheart, and also check online, order your flowers. You can order them online, alexsflowers.com. Alex's Flowers, Pitt Panther alum as well. So 30 years in the business, check them out, Alex's Flowers. All right, guys, we're going to get started with our first segment, and it's about Pete Rose. I think it's a travesty that Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame. But as we were debating earlier during the bum segment, I agree with everything that Scott and Jeremy have brought up in regards to the book and the timing of the book and some other things involving this. Pete Rose, sometimes you catch more flies with honey, and I get what happened with the commissioners, but sometimes you got to take a step back and say, hey, look, if I want to get in the Hall of Fame, I got to behave a little bit. And this is something that Pete Rose did not do. So we'll start with you, Jeremy.
Well, he didn't behave as a manager. Why would he
Right.
behave after
Well, I'm
retirement?
just saying, yeah,
So
exactly.
that's why I
That's funny.
I take it with a grain of salt. He's always been a character, from a player to a manager to kicked out of the league to right up probably the day he died. Pete Rose has the statistics better than 99.9% of the players who's ever played the game outside of home runs. That's the only thing he didn't do. He was a gold glove player. He was a great batter. I mean, him and the Splendid Splinter, and that's it. As far as
Yeah.
great at bat, great guys for hitting. And I'm not talking about power. I mean pure hitting. That's what he was. And Charlie Hustle was Charlie Hustle because that's what he did on the base path.
All right, Scott Morganroth.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no question about his hitting ability. I mean, the word home run to him was a foreign language. He just wanted to get on base and hit it and be consistent. If you're going to put him in there, then you're certainly going to put guys like Rod Carew in there, in terms of the ability. Tony Gwynn, in my opinion, is the best hitter that I've ever seen out. And I didn't have a chance to watch Ted Williams, so I can't really comment on that, only what I've heard. But, I mean, and you know what, believe it or not, a guy that's actually playing in the MLB playoffs, Luis Arias of the San Diego Padres, has won 3 straight batting titles of 3 different teams. So why would I put Luis Arias in a case with Pete Rose? Because he's one of those punch and Judy hitters that all he does is get on base. So yeah, we're not going to question his ability at all. But are we going to question his intelligence? Yeah. Timing is everything. I mean, let's be realistic. There's a timing, for everything. Is there going to be a timing where the United States ultimately gets a first female for president? Mexico just did, right? I mean, so I'm not questioning that. You question the common sense about what he did, the way he handled it, and unfortunately, it doesn't work for him. Now, who's to say? Now, with all due respect, Rob Manfred has said that he will be done as commissioner and he's serving his final term. Will that mean that the new commissioner that subsequently takes place reopens this up for discussion? Maybe. Is it one of those situations, Ralph and Jeremy, that time heals all wounds?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know whether time heals all wounds.
Right.
But then if you're going to put Pete in the Hall of Fame, then you better put Shoeless Joe Jackson in there too, right? Because you have to be consistent. You can't have one guy over another, and that you have to acknowledge it. I mean, let's face the reality, throwing games just for money back in 1908 or whatever it was, will time heal all wounds there. But the reality is Pete made his bed, he's sleeping in it. Well, now he's sleeping in it. I don't know if it's a concrete nap, whether he's getting cremated or a dirt nap, but he has to go to his grave realizing, but again, I can't reiterate it enough, okay? 15 years to come clean, you write a book, you try to make a profit? Really?
Yes, exactly.
I understand people's way to make a living, but there's certain things in terms of a pecking order for what you have to do. You know what I mean? And Pete has made a series of bad decisions. He goes on TV admitting that he lied. Okay, wasn't it Charles Gibson, I think, that did that interview with him on ABC?
Yes.
So he's now, and again, it's obvious. Let me tell you right now, okay, I've had an opportunity to have Fred Clare on, okay, formerly of the Dodgers, the vice president. And when you talk about Al Campanis, I know I'm getting off topic just a little, but hang with me on this, okay? Because I've had experience dealing with this stuff. Many years ago, I had an opportunity to watch Ted Koppel interview Al Campanis, okay? And he talked about, African Americans not being good managers and whatever. We know it all became a racist, and Ted Koppel did everything that he could to try to say, Al, okay, you don't mean this or whatever. All you have to do is go over the tape. And I had Fred Clare on the Motor City Mad Mouse show about a month or two ago. And, he's 80. Fred's 88 years old, guys. He don't care what he's saying. But I built a good relationship with Fred over the years covering the Dodgers based on when they were in Vero Beach, Florida, and through the years. So I've always had good Dodger connections, dating back from Lasorda to Clare, and the list goes on. And, of course, my first interview was with Tommy Lasorda at the Diplomat Hotel in Hollywood. And you know what? Al Campanis was let go after 40, 41 years. You just can't do certain things on national television. Sometimes you just can't go out there.
Right.
And you can't recover from these things. And where I'm saying with Pete Rose is he couldn't recover.
He couldn't
from his
recover
regression,
right from the damage
transgressions.
that happened with the situation. Yes,
Exactly. And that's all I'm saying. So the reason why I'm bringing up Fred Clare and Al Campanis and all that is he couldn't recover either, no matter how hard you tried to do it. You just can't do it.
Yeah, he has a stained reputation from this. And
exactly.
then, you know what I mean? And that's exactly why he was in the position he was in, because he was stained.
Listen,
So
Ralph, nobody's discounting what he did on the field.
right.
I mean, come on.
No, not at all.
If you're going to do that, you might as well put Barry Bonds should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Exactly. Yes.
And the chances are, I'm not sure he'll even get in. I think there's going to be so many people because of his attitude toward the media that won't allow him in. Big Papi, everybody loved the guy. So even if he had a little bit of here, there, although they never could prove it with him, at least he got in. Do you follow it? What I'm saying? So
right.
you have to treat writers a certain way. And if you treat writers a certain way, you make them your friends, not enemies, you know, and I think that's the thing that dooms Rose. He knows it. He's not stupid.
No.
He really
all right.
isn't.
So
all right, guys.
I'm going to add one thing, though.
We're going to Jeremy.
Common sense and intelligence don't go hand in hand, because some people are super intelligent but have the common sense God gave a goalpost.
Yeah, well, nobody's disputing that. I know. I can tell you, I mean, people I've had that I've interacted on social media and all kinds of things. I don't care. I'm not disputing that. All I'm trying to go out there and do is compare different situations and how they work out and how they played out in the past. That, you know, that's all well and good what you said, but you know, I've dealt with this stuff firsthand. You know, being around this industry a long time in my book states.
All right, Brent says, good morning, gentlemen. And then also we're going to go to this one here. He says, sorry, JB, for missing your show. It's been a hot mess. Hey, Brent, no problem. We appreciate you being here. And any prayers you need, let me know, and we'll send them out for our prayers here or anything that's going on. All right. So also, okay, guys, let's move on to our next topic, which is also going to be baseball related. We'll get to that in a second here. All right, which is brought to you in part today by the original Hometown Pizza in Moon Township. Let me see where we're at here. There we go. The original Hometown Pizza, University Boulevard, 412-264-4444. I can't get the graphic up there. There we go. All right, there we go. I got it now. There we are. The original Hometown Pizza. Call them today, 412-264-4444. Hey, we have a bunch of college football games going on today. You also got high school and everything else. Stop by on University Boulevard, original Hometown Pizza. Tell them Ralph Williams sent you. You'll get a discount on your order. And also, they do delivery. You can go in for takeout. And there's eat-in. And get this, there's some nostalgic games in there. Galactica, Pac-Man, and so forth. Foosball. You can go in there and have fun and have some pizza. So why not do that? Original Hometown Pizza, Moon Township, University Boulevard. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about Terry Francona. All right, Terry Francona got out of baseball for health reasons. And hang on, we're going to go into some more of the comments here before we get into Terry Francona. Let me get this one up here. Matt Henry says, good morning, guys. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you, Matt, for being part of the program, as always. And it's great to have you on the comment section. But anyway, Terry Francona is making a return to baseball. He got hired this week by the Cincinnati Reds. Is this another Urban Meyer kind of thing where, I don't feel good, or there's a problem here? And, a lot of coaches will step away and they'll say for personal reasons because they were arguing with management or there was an issue between them and the ownership group or whatever. I don't know about Terry Francona. I do know he is a good manager. He took the Boston Red Sox to their first ever World Series, things like that. So he's been a great manager. He said he wanted to get out for health reasons. Now he's coming back. Urban Meyer does that a lot, and a few other people as well. All right, we'll start with you, Scott.
Well, okay, Ralph. The requirement to have me on a show is you have to get 2 reallys and 2 seriouslys out of me. And now you're really going to do, well, here's your first really. Okay. Really? Seriously? Okay, here's the deal. If you think you could compare Urban Meyer, okay, to Terry Francona, then you're really scrambled because, first of all, those 2 guys are like salt and pepper. They're polar opposites. Okay.
I don't know Terry that well.
No, wait, let me finish here. Okay, let me finish. Okay, because you met the requirement to bring me on the external show. Because I was joking around with my wife Candy about this the other day. 2 reallys and 2 seriouslies are what's required to get me on the show, and you've already met the quota today. Number one, if you think you can compare Urban Meyer to Terry Francona, then no chance, my brother. Urban Meyer, okay, is an interesting bird, and I've talked to people around Gator Nation as well as some of my sources, and of course we all saw what he did at Jacksonville. Okay, that was bad.
Yes.
Okay, thought he could go out there and obviously set that program back. So don't compare Urban Meyer to Terry Francona. Now here's a couple of things you should be aware of. I truly believe that Terry Francona needed to take a year off. Maybe he had to address medical issues. Hey, I'm in the same boat. I'll never take time off anyways because it's in my blood.
Right.
But Cincinnati is a good organization. I've worked with them in the past. I cover their farm team with Daytona Tortugas. Every now and then I'll get up there to see them. And back in the 80s, I worked and did a lot of Reds coverage, for Reds View magazine. Here's the thing that people have to understand, okay? Terry Francona is close to that 2,000 win mark, managerial wise. He has a chance to surpass 3 managers this year. If the team is halfway decent, he will do it. That's number one. I've interviewed Terry Francona when he was a player back in Pompano Beach. And if I went up to him again, I'll bet we'd reminisce about what we did. Terry Francona is a class act. He did need a time off. He really did.
No, I understand that, Scott. I just wanted to make sure that we're not, you know what I mean? I wasn't saying that he is because I don't know the man.
Oh, I'm not disputing you. I'm just telling you what my background is, Ralph and Jeremy, about him.
Sure.
You're not doing anything wrong. I'm just trying to give you my point of view.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. And absolutely.
I think you bring me on here for that.
All the time.
You bring me on here for that reason, right?
That's absolutely.
So I do believe that Terry Francona is ready to come back. The Reds probably made him a decent offer to come back, and he has some unfinished business to do.
Yes.
Urban Meyer will never see another head coaching job at all. He's better off at Fox. Whether he likes the Wolverines or not, I really, frankly, don't care about Urban Meyer anyways. I don't know who can save the Florida program, but I don't think they'd bring him back. They'd look for somebody else to replace Napier. But the reality, hey, Jay, how you doing, man? Good to see you again, buddy.
Yeah, Ralph, Scott, and Jeremy. Thank you, Jay, for being part of the program. Brent DeWitt said also, good morning, folks. And you're welcome, Brent, anytime. And no, I don't hate Terry. I do not. He's a local guy from New Brighton, PA here in Western Pennsylvania. I just said that is this in that direction. I never said that I hate Terry Francona. He's a great manager. I wish the Pirates had him. So you see what I'm getting at. All I said was that Urban Meyer, is this another one? I didn't say I hated him.
I never said that you said that.
No, I know, but I mean, I'm trying to, what Jay said that I hate Terry Francona.
Right.
I do not.
No,
Terry, I do not.
The bottom line is Urban Meyer isn't getting back into coaching, I don't think. He better stay where he's at with Fox, and they were glad to bring this guy on. Yeah, he was a good coach, okay, in college, okay. Any guy that flies back from Cincinnati all the way to Jacksonville after an embarrassing Thursday night loss to me is garbage, and I have no desire to meet the guy. As for Terry Francona, again, he's a legendary manager. He's won world championships. He snapped a big drought in Boston. He made Cleveland relevant for a while. He's won everywhere he's gone. He's going to win again in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a good organization. The Reds are a great Midwestern baseball town is what they are. And I think Terry, with the talent, if they could give him a few more pieces, that'll help. Terry's going to do a great job in Cincinnati. I have no doubt in my mind he's going to do well. Urban Meyer is a mental train wreck that's only good for TV. He obviously had his heyday winning national championships in college, and that's what he was a great coach in college, but he laid a big egg in Jacksonville.
So, big time, Scott. Big time egg. Oh, absolutely. You know what? I have a towel here for him if he wants to, wipe the egg off his face. That kind of thing.
I think it's going to need a lot more than a towel to wipe the egg off of his face, what he did in Jacksonville. But a lot of that stuff I couldn't go ahead and mention on live podcast.
Right.
So,
Jeremy, your thoughts on Terry Francona?
Terry Francona is a 2-time World Series champion, 3 times Coach of the Year in baseball. So to compare him to Urban Meyer, whose only thing is he won a national championship, I think, with Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
That's all he's got under his record.
Right.
He's had winning records, but he hasn't ever
He hasn't been
made
to the big dance.
right.
More or less. Yeah.
And then when he came to the NFL, he became a joke. He kicked his kicker. He made sunshine ruined. And as we can see, Trevor Lawrence looks god awful this year. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is ever going to recover because every year.
I wouldn't say that, Jeremy, because you know what? I cover the Jaguars over at. I covered the Jaguars.
Coach in Notre Dame.
Jeremy. Okay, I talked to Doug Peterson about that, and basically he pretty much told Trevor Lawrence just use that as a redshirt year, and he led him to the playoffs in a game away. I think the Jaguars' problems are a lot deeper. Let me finish, Jeremy, please. Are a lot more deeper than most people even realize, which I don't want to get into. But having direct contact with the people up there. Trevor Lawrence, who knows what you've got around there? I can't figure it out. But Urban Meyer, like you said, Jeremy, is a train wreck. And he did not help the situation with Trevor Lawrence because he was a disruptive individual in the locker room, clubhouse, whatever you want to call it. And it became a toxic situation, Jeremy. I know. I watched it. I saw it firsthand over in Jacksonville.
All right, guys. We got the comment section lighting up here. It's great. Matt Henry, Jay, thank you for your comments.
Again, Matt, we're talking about a guy, Ohio State and Florida, yes, and he won it at college. So I'm not refuting the fact that he's not a good college coach.
Right.
He was just awful.
He just does stupid things. Like when he was with Jacksonville, he did absolutely nothing. And it was, like you said, a train wreck that really, tore things up. And stupid never takes a vacation. So, so he just made some bad decisions, and everybody does that. But I mean,
I was actually hoping Darrell Bevel was going to get that job. I really was. Before they brought in Peterson, Darrell did a pretty good job trying to clean that situation up in a short period of time. Obviously, it didn't work out, but I talked to Darrell after Urban Meyer was fired and certainly was interested in it. But, obviously that didn't play out.
Yeah, Jay makes a good point here. Some folks are not good pro coaches, but amazing college coaches. I've
no
said
question about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I've said that many times. Some people can bake a cake and some people can't. There's good coordinators out there that go and become head coaches, but what they don't do is they don't be a head coach. They're still trying to be a coordinator. And when you're a head coach, you have to do your thing. You have to, tell your assistants, do this, do that. But you don't sit there and try to be the offensive coordinator and the head coach at the same time. It doesn't work.
Well, no, not necessarily. I see.
No, I mean, there are some coaches who can do it, Scott. I'm not saying.
But what I'm trying to tell you, Ralph, is it depends on the personality of the coach.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about, Ralph. Personality of the coach, if you can do it. Now, obviously, it is hard to do two roles at one time. I understand that. But the head coach's job is to make sure that you're a great delegator, motivator on game day, and make sure that when you're able to do both of those, you do them. But you're only as good as the staff and the players that you have. And that's it. But in Urban Meyer's case in the pros, he wasn't good at anything.
Oh, absolutely.
He's arguing with the damn kicker. He's a dispute with a stupid kicker. How many people really dispute with a kicker?
Yeah. All right, folks. With Bon Journey, who's a friend of the show here. Actually, I've been to many of their shows. They're in South Carolina right now doing a gig. But next week, they will be at Kindrew's Lounge in Aliquippa. Go and join there. Western Pennsylvania's best Bon Jovi and Journey tribute band. It's called, they're going to be at Kindrew's Lounge in Aliquippa, right on Broadhead Road. Real easy to do. Go out the Parkway West, 376, take Business 60. And when you get on Business 60, you'll make a right-hand turn on University Boulevard. Stop by at the original Hometown Pizza, and then turn left on Broadhead Road and follow your nose, like the Toucan says for Fruit Loops. Follow your nose, and it'll take you right to Kindrew's Lounge, right on Broadhead Road. $10 for pre-admission tickets, $15 at the door. And I advise you, please, if you're handicapped like I am, or someone who cannot stand, it's a standing room only place. So please get there early, get a table, get your ticket, and get there, because if you don't, you will be standing. And if you can't stand for a long time, that's going to bother you. So I just want to send that out to everyone as a sort of like a, kind of like a warning, but also I don't want someone to be standing all night that can't stand because of that, because of it's a standing room only show. All
Hey,
right.
Jay, Ralph, go back to that comment that Jay had about the NIL. I want Jeremy and I to address that. I think that's a great comment by
Will
this
I
guy.
get to talk? Because I never even got to finish my take. My sentence got interrupted, and
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Sorry about that, Jeremy.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry.
I forgot what I was going to say because I waited 5 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeremy. I
apologize.
knew that he looked a little distraught. Sorry about that, Jeremy. One of those rare days.
Here we go.
You guys tell me not to do it, and then you did it to me. That's why I was like, wow.
All right, but you know what, though, Jeremy? Here's the deal, Jeremy. Before you don't turn this into anything that it doesn't have to be, okay, Jeremy? I'm owning up to it, apologizing to you, and that's that. Okay, so if it comes back, you can bring it up, and I'll keep my mouth shut and keep working at the Diet Mountain Dew that you always so casually drink. Okay?
All right. I think NIL is ruining college sports. You don't get a chance to coach these players for any length of time because as soon as they get upset because you bench them because they didn't play good, they're going to get upset and leave the next year and go to the next big coach or the next small school to be the star. Look at Malik Willis. Now, granted, he's doing good in the NFL with a good NFL coach. That's the difference in coaching levels between college and pros. These college coaches have no chance of being good in the NFL as long as they have a turnover rate that's higher than high school dropouts.
Well, that's an interesting perspective. It really is.
It is.
So, you know, as I look at this comment, well, I don't think any college coach will ever be prepared for the NFL, regardless of NIL. Because when you look at how many have actually failed to begin with, that had nothing to do with NIL. You're dealing with men versus kids.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
You
there are college coaches who try to treat the pros like they're kids. You know,
Urban Meyer.
Yeah, Urban Meyer. Yes, absolutely.
So hopefully Jeremy will get that thought back because I'm anxious to hear what he has to say. So, you know, I'm just going to sit back and wait for Jeremy to come up because the one thing I don't like, as far as I'm concerned, is when you have a thought, all of a sudden it leaves you and you can't get it back. So I'm with you, bro.
Jay said Scotty likes your style. So there you go.
Okay. Thank you, buddy.
There you are. And here we go. It says, oh, yeah, we're getting ready to do that next. Thank you, Degato Jay. We're getting ready to do that next. Talk real soon here. Talk about Davante Adams and what he wants. And let me see what we got here. All right. Let's see. In 6 seasons with the Jets, Rex Ryan went 46-50 as a head coach with 4-2 playoff record. Rex led the Jets to an AFC championship game back-to-back years in 9 and 10 ever since at coaching. And there we are with that. And then also Degato says Aaron Rodgers has a 17-11-1 record against the Vikings in his career. Jeremy might know a little more about that. That's more of his wheelhouse. Yeah, and then Aaron Rodgers has an 18-8 record against the Lions in his career. Yep. And here we say Lions.
Wait, the first 10 was his first 5 years?
Right.
The 8 and 8 were the last 8 years. That is very specific for a reason.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
All right. Yes, he does own the Bears.
We have some great comments this morning, guys. I appreciate the take of all the perspectives. Not quite sure I fully agree. I think the NIL and managing the money means managing people differently, more of a business mindset, which does prep. Yeah, that is true because it is a business now. It's no longer the game anymore, and it's all about money and business. So,
well, I think the NIL is something that you have to you need a 2, 3, 4 years to gauge the real impact on it. We don't know yet.
And as far as the
Lions, Matt Henry.
As far as his comment that Davante Adams won't go to the Saints, that's literally the 2 teams he named on the podcast he was a part of 3 days ago. He only wants to go to the Jets or the Saints.
And so if you recall correctly, Jeremy, on Inside the Pigskin, what were the 2 teams that I suggested?
The Jets and the Saints.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he's familiar with the quarterback. Right. That's why he wants to go there. And I don't blame him. I mean, if that's what he wants to do. And those of you out there who think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to sign Davante Adams, I have some swampland for you for sale in Florida with alligators. So, you know, there you go. No offense, Scott. I mean, you know,
you're going to offend me with gators. I really, frankly, care.
No, I'm just saying. I know. I'm just. I always say that all the time. I got swampland in Florida for you for sale. So
I live right near the Everglades.
All right, Jeremy, with the knowledge, it. That's why he's on the show here, along with Scott Morganroth. Scott with the crystal ball. There you go. All right.
So let me help Jeremy out, okay, real quick, because I love this guy. He's come a long way in my system, anyways. So, of the one that you couldn't get a word in, what topic were we alluding to?
I was saying how Terry Francona was 10 times the manager that Urban Meyer was as a football coach in professional sports. And that's on accident. That's without his accolades. Look at his years he didn't win, and he coached those teams to better records on accident.
Okay. There you go. You got it. So at least the guy was able to get it back a little.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We'll try to get it in there. You got it.
I'll tell you what. No, I'm serious, because I really care about BALLREICH. I really do. I mean, the guy's come a long way. He came from a guy that couldn't write diddly, and now his columns are some of the most interesting ones, because he looks at both perspectives about if this goes this way, it goes this way. If this goes that way, the other way. And he's not going to get wrong by looking at both sides. Now, back to your Francona situation. Terry Francona, to me, is a guy that knows how to he knows how to treat people well. Urban Meyer has a communication problem and an ego. And anytime you have a communication problem with ego, they call him Tito. He's laid back. He has a great reputation with not only players, management. That's the difference between the two individuals. Again, they both have won, but Terry Francona, remember, no matter what Urban Meyer will ever say, Terry Francona broke the curse of Babe Ruth in Boston, and he did it the hard way, right? Down 3-0, they came back and won 4-3, and the rest is history. Anybody that could break the curse of the Bambino, Terry Francona will always be the guy to do it. That goes without saying, because for a year I got sick and tired of hearing it. Thank you very much, Terry. We don't have to hear it no more, right? And that's what you just pointed out in a moment, BALLREICH. Okay, trying to compare apples and oranges, right? Pretty much. Yeah. But one's a far better communicator than the other one. The other one belongs on the air. I don't mind. I don't even watch it anyway, so it doesn't make any difference.
Look at Jay here.
I knew I hated. Well, he doesn't like. Well, because there's a different reason. Because they're in the same division. I get where Jay's coming from. But no, Jeremy, I'm really sincere. Because when people raise their hand on my show, and I can't get to them all the time because I have to manage everybody else, I have to make sure that as a moderator, that you do the best you can to distribute the football everywhere, so it's a fair playing field. It's not the easiest job. I love being the producer, but when you get on the air and you have to focus on everything, as we always do week in and week out, there's never really an easy way to do it. You know what I mean? But we do the best we can as an executive producer, putting this stuff together, and how we present it to our fans. And I think that the reason why I'm pressing you on this one with Francona is because you're starting to get a little smarter with baseball, where before you didn't know lick about it and you were only limited to Florida. So I got to take advantage of his newfound knowledge on a new sport, because you never know what show it might lead him on.
And wait till I get to my parting shot, because I'm going to shock you again.
All right.
Well, tell me something new.
We're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studio, 724-201-0500. Call Mata today. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Don't forget, the winter's coming. Get your furnace fixed. Get it done now, quickly, because Mata's been busy because of my efforts. They have been very busy with a lot of orders, and it's great to know that I'm able to make a difference. And if you want me to make a difference in your business, call 412-545-4317. I have 2 radio shows, all my podcasts, all included in one package, very affordable rates. Give me a call today. All right, this next segment, we're going to talk about NFL. Davante Adams is brought to you in part by Robin Campbell Insurance, Farmers, and Bristol West Insurance. Give him a call, 412-366-3399. I have been a customer of Robin Campbell for over 13 or 14 years, and he just helped me out, really saved me some money with some insurance. Call him today, 412-366-3399. I advise you, I just had a fire in my building, and a lot of these folks in here did not have renter's insurance. I advise you to get it. If you rent a property, please get renter's insurance. It's a fraction, $10 a month, 15, 20, not even that. It's worth the effort. It's worth the money. Get it, because if you don't, you're going to screw yourself if you have a fire in your building or something. Don't trust your landlord. Get this renter's insurance. I don't trust any landlord. I get renter's insurance all the time. In fact, I double up on it, because that way at least I know I'm covered. And you need that kind of coverage. All right, let's talk about guys. Let's talk about Davante Adams. He wants to be traded from the Las Vegas Raiders. He wants to go to the New Orleans Saints, or he wants to go to the Jets. Now, there's rumors out there, and I don't even acknowledge them, that the Steelers are interested, because every time something like this comes up, somebody puts something on social media that the Steelers are interested. I'm not even going to go there. Start with you, Scott.
Well, number one, I don't think they'll go to Steelers because they don't want an Antonio Brown drama.
Exactly.
That's why I don't think they'll go. Mike Tomlin, been there, done that. Now, back to the two teams that I've been saying this for all week, that I think he needs to either go to the Saints or Derek Carr, and that's the reason he went to the Raiders in the first place, or reconnect with Aaron Rodgers. I guess it just depends on how desperate the Jets want to win. If they want to get to the playoffs and they need a wide out one, then you bring Adams, because he's had a good working relationship with Aaron Rodgers. Here's the thing, though. You never know how good you had it till it's gone. And I think Davante Adams is finding that out, that it wasn't so bad in Green Bay. Okay. And that's a good point, Patty. It wasn't so bad in Green Bay until you left Aaron Rodgers, and now you find out exactly why it worked out. You were great because of Aaron Rodgers getting you the football and going out there and making you a focal part of the passing game. Also, well, okay. So then the other part of the equation is you got Derek Carr lobbying to get him there. Those are the only two teams that make sense. Now it's really pretty much up to the organizations. You know what the Raiders want? Provide them with the necessary compensation to get those players in those necessary spots. I don't think there's any other team. I mean, I'm not going to speculate where he's going to go. I think those are the two most likely spots that he should go. Now it's up for the Jets to pony it up, or, in my opinion, it's up to the Saints to pony up. And again, I don't see Pittsburgh as a realistic option.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, exactly. No, because we just got rid of some drama. Kenny Pickett, Deontay Dropson, we just got rid of him, who actually, believe it or not, with Andy Dalton, who I said is a good backup quarterback. He's getting 300-yard games passing now, and he's throwing the ball to Deontay Johnson, and good for him. I had the personal. I was able to meet him personally once at a draft party down at the old Heinz Field, which is now Acrisure Stadium. I got to meet him personally. Very nice guy, but it's just some of his antics just didn't work here. And in Pittsburgh, but good. I'm glad he's doing.
Let me point one other thing out. Robert Saleh better be lobbying to get Davante Adams. He's
save his job. Save his job.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's where I was going with it, Ralph. Yeah. In order to save his job, he better hope that Davante Adams is connected with Rodgers. This guy, I know for a while, Jeremy could probably attest to this too, that a lot of people wanted Robert Saleh to be the Lions head coach, and they ended up going Dan Campbell. How did that work out? All right, Jeremy. I don't want to steal it all. So
here's one for Jeremy, which I've been teasing him about for a while, because my co-host Smoking Jim Frazier keeps bringing it up about Bobby Lane. There you go, Jeremy. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be broken, because guess what? Dan Campbell's been able to do in less than 3.5 seasons. He's already got himself a plus 500 record, because he's 27, 27, and a tie. Remember, he got that tie versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers were butthurt because they got a tie. You remember that little joke they did around Christmas time?
Yeah.
Steelers are like, oh, a tie. Lions fans are like, yay, a tie.
Tie, yeah, exactly.
Because that was our first non-losing effort.
Exactly.
In that season.
And that was the one Mason Rudolph was the quarterback. And I remember that game. Yeah. Yeah. And everybody was like, oh, man, it was a tie, and all that. Yeah. I remember that game. That was at Acrisure Stadium. Yeah.
And the biggest curse on the Lions was when William Clayford Sr. took over in 1963. But that's another story.
Yeah, Oh,
Jay and Patty, I want to thank you for your comments. Yes, I do. I am a spokesperson for disabled people because that's where I am. I'm working on trying to get away from this. It's taken some time, which it always does, but I'm working on trying to walk again. I have issues with my neck and my hands and my arms. I'm in a lot of pain, but you know what? I keep on kicking, and that's what I do. And, you know.
Well, you know what, Jeremy, let me add this. We can talk about how inept William Clay Ford Sr. was with the Lions. I get that.
Morning, Dakota.
But remember one thing, though, and I've seen a lot of franchises move, okay? At least this owner was committed to keeping the team in Metro Detroit, with the Silverdome, and subsequently they ended up downtown. I can tell you I've gone to many towns. Houston was one of them. And, of course, I've been to Cleveland where, you know what, give me a new stadium or else. You never had that situation with the Ford family. And now, obviously, the franchise is in good hands under the current ownership in the family is what it is. So, and I've actually met years ago at the Silverdome, William Clay Ford gave me an interview, really super nice guy, put his arm around me and gave me whatever time I needed. And nobody will ever accuse William Clay Ford of not being patient and hiring some good people. It's just it didn't work out there. So I just want to at least make that point out there when we talk about curses and things like that. The guy was a great man. He really was. Maybe his hiring decisions weren't great. I get that, but you know what? He never held moving against a team to move the Lions to get the desirable stadium deal.
Of course,
Jeremy. First of all, real quick before you, I want to thank you for putting this on your network. I really do. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. But as far as that's concerned, of course, William Clay Ford Sr. wasn't going to move that thing. It was his biggest tax write-off for Ford Motor Company. So that being said, let's go into everything else, though. Davante Adams this year has really been shapuku. He's had one good game.
Yes.
It's been against Baltimore. In that game, they eked out a win when Baltimore choked harder than the Dallas Cowgirls at home.
This Jay is the greatest. I love this guy. Jay, I hope you've subbed to my channel. I love this guy. If he's from your neck of the woods, get more of this guy. We need a zero copy. Here's the guy.
We've had some great topics here, and we've also
had some
great people.
Ralph, time out. This guy's remembering my Howard Cosell rant from the other night. I love this guy. He saw me go off and yeah, I did meet Ford. I mean, there was a time when I was covering the Lions nonstop from it was 88 to 99, 11 years at the Dome. That was my home. So I met a lot of great people there. But, I love this Jay. Jeremy was on that show when I blew a gasket about Howard.
Oh, my God. Yeah. And he mentioned it again. Please don't blow a gasket today.
No, I won't. No, but I'm still entitled to talk about it because I got a guy who's really engaged. I love this Jay, man. This guy's awesome.
Jay's awesome.
He really is, man.
Jay, best fan I've had of the show yet.
Howard Cosell on a Saturday. Seriously.
Howard Cosell. Oh, wow.
Howard Cosell. Wait. Howard Cosell on a Saturday. Thanks to Jay. Seriously? Really? Seriously? Really? Good job, Jay.
Hey, you know what? I'll tell you something about Howard Cosell. I watched the top 10s, and I love them on NFL Network.
Yeah.
And they had the top 10 broadcasters of all time. Here in Pittsburgh, we had a guy named Myron Cope. He was number 4. Guess who followed him at number 3? It was Howard Cosell.
All right, so you know what your homework assignment is between now and next Saturday when we do this thing? All right, Ralph, you must, and Jeremy's my witness, right, Jeremy?
Okay.
Watch Inside the Pigskin. Okay, the last episode about the 50 points and losing, because I'm going to tell you, Jeremy was on that episode, and we brought this bozo up. You have to do it by next Saturday.
Okay.
Sure
yeah,
sure.
Check it out. Yeah.
Davante Adams, while he is still a great receiver, his stats are good because of one game. He had one game where he had 110 yards. He had 2 games. Now, in that Carolina game, that they damn near lost. Remember this.
Right.
He had 10 targets, 4 catches, 3 drops, 40 yards, and a long of 15. When you're playing against a team as bad as the Carolina Panthers, you should be putting up 380 yards on 10 catches with his talent.
Absolutely. And you know what? I got an interesting scenario here for you guys today at 2:00 for the Sports Corner radio show, which is where the return debut. We talk about mediocrity in sports, which is another topic we'll get to some other time. Okay, I don't want to do it today because
hey, Jeremy, I have to tell you, brother, I can't top what you just said about Davante Adams.
it is. Yes.
Wait, hold on, bro.
No, I'm
talking to this guy. I can't top that one. You got one on me there.
And on top of that, the only way the Saints can afford to trade for Davante Adams is they massage that cap like the masseuses did the Texans quarterback, Deshaun Watson.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
Yeah, okay,
I have a feeling though this deal is going to happen much sooner than later. I won't even get to the trade line because the reason why is you don't want this to, his best value right now. Okay, to me, is if you move them quickly. Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali were awesome together. Guess what, Brent? I've met both of them too. There you go.
Yes.
Where's Junior? Jerry.
Yeah, all you have to do.
I don't have a Junior, so he doesn't exist. He's just a troll on YouTube.
Right. Yeah, but that trade, Jeremy and Ralph, will get done sooner than later because the last thing, while the value's higher, if indeed the Raiders are looking to make a deal, okay, for whether it's with the Jets or the Saints, it has to get done right away.
All right. Okay, everybody, let's go to our local segment here, and we're getting ready to wrap things up, and that's brought to you today by Draft Nation. DraftNation.com. Look, they're the pros of drafts. Look, hockey, NBA, the baseball, and especially the NFL draft. DraftNation.com. They have several podcasts there. Guests on my program, J.D. Toth, Emmett Mahan, the Dave Finoli, he writes a ton of books about Pittsburgh sports. They're all over the place. They make national attention. Also, J.D. Toth and Joe Kuglis. So draftnation.com. Carolina, they're in right now. They're in Indianapolis as well as Pittsburgh. So check out Draft Nation. They also have an e-magazine, $9.99 a month. It's worth it. They put it in your inbox in your email. All kinds. They break the skinny down of all the athletes and everything else. DraftNation.com. Our local segments start with you, Jeremy.
My local segment, of course, is about our Detroit Tigers. They just swept the Houston Astros. A.J. Hinch got a measure of revenge for being considered the architect of the cheating scandal down there at Houston. I don't know if he set up that CCTV thing and everything else, but he was a part of it. And I get that they had to do the scapegoat thing or the owner was going to get in more trouble. So A.J. Hinch was the victim of that. The owner is the one that put that whole system in place. He paid for it to be done.
All right.
So that, and now we get to take on the Cleveland
Guardians.
What are they called now? Oh, the Guardians.
Guardians.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That was a roller derby team I watched in the 80s. I don't know what they're talking about.
All right. Scott, go ahead with your local.
Jeremy and roller derby on the same show. Who would have thunk that?
I haven't heard roller derby come up in a long time.
Me either. That's why I brought it up. All right, got 3 places I want to go with this. Tuesday night, Florida Panthers host the Boston Bruins. Okay, instead of go hunt, now the Panthers are the hunted. That's item number 1. Item number 2, Miami Marlins clean house, manager gone, all the coaches not coming back. I think the right choice would be Gabe Kapler, but we'll see where this managerial search goes. 3, why am I wearing the Miami Hurricane shirt? Well, because I expect them to beat the California Golden Bears tonight, although it'll be 10:30. It'll be interesting. I haven't written my story on this yet because they had a great win over Virginia Tech. Now I want to see if they can pair up 2 wins between Virginia Tech and California, but they're doing it on the West Coast in California. So I love my Canes. They mean everything in the world to me. I enjoy covering this team. And let me tell you, Cam Ward to me is a dynamo. And he's playing on the West Coast, so he knows California. So I'm going to find a way to scrounge up enough Diet Mountain Dew tonight, okay, to watch this game at 10:30. I'll be watching the Tigers, obviously, at 1 after I do my social media in between after this show. Great stuff tonight. Proud of you guys today.
All right, there. We're going to finish up the comments here. Jay says, we used to watch roller derby when I was a teenager. Absolutely.
So did I.
You notice I said the 80s. I am 54 on Wednesday. That means that I was a teenager.
Hey, happy birthday
Well,
to you. I just
I'll
turned.
be six. I'll be 62 in December, and I can remember Ralphie Balladaris.
There you go. I like this comment from Jay. I agree with him on this, but so much for that. That didn't happen as usual. All right, happy birthday wishes are out there for you. And Jay says for Scott to check his email. All right, and then and someone said something about Ken Dorsey, of course, Matt Henry, and then also let's see, Pete Rose died. No
Yeah,
kidding.
we covered that right at the beginning of the show, Brent.
Yes, we did, Brent. Thank you.
Hey, Jay, you know what? Tell you what, Jeremy, contact Jeremy to get my personal email, and we'll look in the South Florida Tribune at gmail.com. All right, buddy? That way I can see it directly. Jeremy, just make sure you reach out to Jay and give him.
He sent it to South Florida Tribune at gmail.com. Candy has it.
Yeah, okay. Oh, does she? Okay,
Yeah.
make sure he can also send it. Give him my personal email too. All right.
Okay. I don't know him personally, but he'll have to send me an email so I have his.
No problem. He's a good guy. I love having him on these shows. This guy's phenomenal.
All right, look at the top there. I'm going to replace the RW Media here with this, and that is the Sports Corner show on Tuesdays. Join us. Smoke and Jim and I are back for this Tuesday. We're doing a closing Pirate show. Our guest will be Noah House from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and legend John Parado, who covers the Pirates through baseball now. Lots of things going on with the Pirates. They closed up the season. Very disappointing. Tune in on Tuesday. Also, don't forget on Tuesday as well, the new Wrestle Talk will be on for 1 hour from 5 to 6 p.m. We have independent wrestler David Lawless coming on. He will join us, and also Bubba Brewer, who is the owner of Allied Powers Wrestling Federation, who Sports Corner sponsors. He will be on to tell us about his event coming up, and we're going to talk about the results of today's Bad Blood pay-per-view at 6 p.m. Peacock with the WWE. All right, let's get to these last final comments here before we wrap things up here real quick. As soon as I get this off the screen, as we go here, there we go. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, it says, all right, happy early birthday, Jeremy. Here, let's see if I can get that up there. Hold on a minute. First, I got to get this off the screen here. All right, there we go. All right, there we are. I got it. I gotta work with this.
So, Jeremy, are we going to be singing you happy birthday when you come on the Motor City Mad Mouse show on Wednesday, or are you going to be on?
I'll be on.
Okay. Good. Then we'll mention your birthday.
I took the day
you can
off.
mention it, but please don't sing.
Huh?
We can mention it, but please don't sing. You've got to rest those vocal cords.
Hey, Jeremy.
I love this guy's style. I won't do it.
Hey, Jeremy.
If he says that, I'll just wish him an outright happy birthday.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jeremy, for your birthday, Jeremy, I'll take you out to McDonald's. I'll get you something off the value menu.
Yeah,
So,
don't.
Hey, it'll make me happier than the Miami Dolphins are with Tua.
there you go. All right.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, don't. You're supposed to give him a birthday present. You're not supposed to give him that.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
if they're a sponsor of yours, then I'll eat my words.
No. A McDonald's gift card.
Are we doing parting shots?
Yes, we can if you want to. Go ahead.
I've got one that has to do with the Black Sox, for someone that wasn't lumped in with the people that were banned. It's a viewer of mine's great-grandfather, Eddie Seacott, born right here in Sebring, Michigan. He played a total of 13 years in Major League. He had 201 wins. In 1970, he was 28-12 with 34 complete games. In 1919, the Black Sox year, he had 30 complete games with 29 wins. Out of those 29, 18 were shutouts. He has a career ERA of 2.38. He started his career with the Detroit Tigers in 1905 and then had a 3-year hiatus due to a major injury that happened in spring training. But this guy came back and played in 1920, so he was not a part of the Black Sox fans. Why? He was the only 2 games the Chicago White Sox won because he refused to let the manager put the guy in at the end of the game.
All right. Great parting shot there. I think we're going to do that, Jeremy, from now on right here on the External Bum Show. My time, or the local for me, Steelers are playing the Dallas Cryboys Sunday night, 8:20 p.m. And it's going to be an interesting game at Acrisure Stadium. Justin Fields will get the start once again. I don't see Russell Wilson hitting the field unless Justin Fields screws up or gets hurt. I think Mike Tomlin's going to stick with the hot hand. He did that last year with Mason Rudolph. I think he'll do it again this year with Justin Fields. Pitt plays North Carolina today. They start their ACC schedule. Question is, they had a bye week. Did they fix the mistakes that they made in the prior games? They can't afford to make them against Mac Brown's team, regardless of who's playing quarterback. Mac Brown always puts a good team on the field. Great coach, good program. We're going to down in North Carolina, hostile environment. Let's see what Eli Holstein does today down there. And as far as the Pirates go, they closed up their season. They fired Andy Haynes, who Scott and Jeremy should be familiar with, was a hitting coach with Milwaukee. He just got fired. They fired the bullpen coach, and I heard that they're getting ready to fire some other people as well. Derek Sheldon will still be the manager, unfortunately, and that's where we're going there with my local. And please don't forget this afternoon.
Well, here, let me make sure I get mine in, too, if you don't mind.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. You can get your parting shots in, Scott.
First of all, number one.
Go ahead.
AJ Hinch plays chess extremely well. He really does. You talk about the absolute genius plays. I had a couple shows titled with AJ Hinch this week, and I talked about him returning to Houston and then checkmating Houston. First of all, you wanted to get rid of the guy, Houston? You did. Hey, listen, though, you did win a world championship with Dusty Baker. It's not the worst thing in the world. And I'm sure that this other guy is not bad. But AJ Hinch got the last laugh. Okay, he really, really did. And in my opinion, 86 and 76 with the Detroit Tigers, where you have to piecemeal a pitching staff and then you have your horse, Terry Skubal. I don't know if he can get away with that in this series piecemeal. He's going to have to find at least a second starter now that you go on 5 games, but I wouldn't put it past them. But in my opinion, AJ Hinch qualifies as an absolute genius. He really is. And, I do believe in my mind that during the offseason, the Tigers may try to find 1 or 2 more starters. You can't get away with this style of baseball for 162 games. But you know what? The fact that the Detroit Tigers got in the playoffs and now they're titling it in the media against Cleveland, the surprise series, goes to show you that you can win a lot of different ways. And without a doubt, AJ Hinch is proving that. So I've been saying all along on all my shows, and I will say it again. The Detroit Tigers are on house money.
All right. All right. Then don't forget about this afternoon, 2 o'clock p.m. start time, 2 to 3, the return of the Sports Corner radio show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano. Today, our special guest will be Luther Dupree from the Steel City Sports World. Great. It's a great show for you today, 2 to 3 p.m. on 1250 a.m. and 92.5 FM, The Answer, and on theanswer.com. To check out their website if you live anywhere across the United States and, Hawaii and Alaska. I do have some folks up in Alaska that do tune into my shows, so I know that they're going to be tuning in today for the radio show as well. All right, guys, let's wrap things up here. Jeremy, how can everyone get a hold of you and give everybody your information about what you're up to?
I missed one addendum on Eddie Seacott.
Go ahead.
He pitched in 502 games and had 249 complete games. How is that for an average of staying in all the time? And I understand it was a different era then, but they did have reliever pitchers for when a pitcher sucked. So that means he only sucked at 51% of the time.
Well, if you're going to bring that up, in my opinion, Mickey Loach belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, but this guy was the guy that only won the only 2 games for the Black Sox.
No, I know. I'm just saying. So you made a point, and I'm making one too.
He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame just for that reason.
Okay. All right, you're making that point, and I'm going to go back to what I just said. Mickey Loach belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Rich. Good to see you, brother.
Thank you very much, Rich. I appreciate it.
You can find me right here every Saturday at 9 a.m. on the External Bum Show that Ralph hosts.
Yes.
I post it to my channel because it helps gain viewerships and subs for every channel involved. And I'm also involved with the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel, where I'm occasionally on Inside the Pigskin, always on the Motor City Mad Mouth and Fire Up shows.
All right,
Then-
folks.
Then there's my channel.
All right.
Fighting with the Motor City Lions, where I'm live almost 7 days a week. I go live again tonight at 10 p.m. where we're doing the NFC North and East Power Hours because I'm not competing with NFL Primetime on Sunday.
There you go. Hey, that's a smart move, Jeremy. I do like that. Okay, Scott Morganroth, how can people get a hold of you, and what are you up to?
Yeah, I'm up to everything. Despite I have to make a declaration here on your show. I had to deal with this 2 days ago. I will mention it here. 2 days ago, I was diagnosed with dementia, and
Say some prayers for Scott.
I am, but I can promise all my fans out there that I'm not letting up. No way. I have too much fun doing this stuff.
Oh,
So don't let anybody ever discourage you because you have to deal with a little bit of bad luck that you're going to stop what you're doing, because Jeremy and Ralph know I'm anything but a stopper. And when I have a lot of Diet Mountain Dew, then as they always say, ain't no stopping me now. Of course, that's what they're thinking. And also I wrote that, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring of Visionary Leaders. You know what? I'm proud of that book. I will be doing a second one as well. And I also intend to talk to Coach John Bonamago, who's also on Inside the Pigskin. And I know we're talking about doing a book for him. So nothing's going to slow me down. I just felt like it's important that if for some reason I make a mistake here and there on these shows, because I forget, that's the reason why I won't make an excuse, because I don't like making mistakes anyways. So please understand that I'm going to keep working as hard as I can to be as relevant as I can. Thanks for putting that up. Also, if you want to subscribe to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel, please do so. Go to YouTube, South Florida Tribune, and then hit the subscribe button, and you get everything I have. Jeremy's been an unbelievable addition. We're working on another project together with No Filter. That's going to take a little while to really come to fruition, but he's on there with myself and George Eichhorn. So thanks a lot, Jay. I really appreciate it. And thanks for getting the book. So what did I say? We have also Tribune at Twitter, at Tribune South. Help me out, Jeremy. I'm starting to lose it.
You're on Facebook. You're on Twitter. You're on LinkedIn. You're everywhere, just like me.
Right.
You can find me at Smokin' Jeremy B on Twitter, at Smokin' Jeremy B1 on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn,
Right.
Jeremy Ballrich. You can find me on Facebook, Jeremy Ballrich. You know what? Because I hide my real identity on important sites. I just use my tag name because that's what all my fans know me by.
Right. And also, I should point out, www.southfloridatribune.com. Candy Ebling does a remarkable job putting it together. She's the host of Fire Up with Jeremy and Ralph. Done a great job. I listen to their shows when I'm not on them, and you guys do an incredible job. So, you know, between what my book, right, Jeremy, Twitter at Tribune South, and the YouTube channel, those are the main things to do. So thanks a lot, Jay. I appreciate you understanding. I will fight the fight, and I'm glad to have found you as well. And I'm glad you're going to get the book.
Scott, you go ahead and do that, because I'm doing the same thing. I mean, I'm in a wheelchair, I'm disabled, and everyone thinks that I'm going to sit around and do nothing. You got something coming. I'm going to fight for what I need to do, and you do the same, Scott. And I'm with
Jay, when you're done reading it, will you do me a favor, please? And if you like it, please give me a great review on Amazon. I would appreciate it. I want to get more people.
Amazon doesn't do book reviews. He's got to do it on Barnes and Noble.
Oh, they don't? Okay. Well, then do it on Barnes and Noble. They do if you buy the book. If you don't, if you get it for
free. If he's buying it through you, he's going to have to go on Barnes and Noble.
Right, but if he's buying it directly through Amazon, they'll allow it to do it. That's the clarification I have. I could be wrong, but I'm quite sure of that. But thanks. Either way, you got book 2 is going to be as much fun to write. Maybe not as long as the first one, but there'll be a lot of new names in there.
He asked you for a personalized inscription on the show the other night, so that's why he's going to get it through you. He wants to get it through you.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll get in touch. We'll figure it out.
Yep, and he's going to get your information from me as soon as he texts me.
Sounds good. Okay. Sounds good.
All right, I got to get off the air here because my mom is looking for me. You always got to answer mom here. So
yeah, social media is looking for me to go out and inform my people of what's going on.
Absolutely. And don't forget, later on this afternoon, I will be on with a Pitt post game 30 minutes after the game between Pitt and North Carolina. I'm doing it solo today because my co-hosts, the ones that I usually have on, are not available today and busy doing other things. But I will be on my own here on the RW Media Productions Network of shows. Don't forget to join me later on this afternoon, 2 to 3 p.m., the Sports Corner radio show. Tuesday, the Sports Corner show. And then don't forget next Saturday, right here, 9 a.m., right on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch platforms, the platforms that we're normally on other than the radio show. And don't forget to join us next Saturday. Myself, Jeremy Ballrich, Scott Morganroth, and Leo Haggerty, or a special guest. All right, I'm Ralph Williams for Scott Morganroth, Leo Haggerty. Everybody have yourself a great day. And thank you all for the comments today, and those that just put them up. I'm sorry I can't get to you. We have to go here. So we will get to you next week. And I appreciate all the viewership today and everyone else. Thank you so much. Have yourself a great day, and please be safe.
Great chat.